Every time the mute button gets me. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Hope pray that all is well. Wanted to come to you guys today with a video here, and we are going to be talking about the demon hit list. But first and foremost, I'm releasing this video on a special day for my daughter, Aaliyah Faith Sanchez. That's how she always says it. she, she always said it very quick. Aaliyah Faith Sanchez. But Leah Faith Sanchez, I'm not your biological father, sweetheart, but I love you just as you were my own. I changed your diapers, wiped your butt, bought you underwear, fed you, cleaned you up, saved your life a few times, and you know you showed me how to um, really how to love, truly how to love. She came into my life at a point where I was going through a lot with my son. I actually just lost, um, my oldest. He didn't die or anything. It was just his mother was upset that I wasn't with her anymore. After 7 years of trying to talk to somebody and no change, how many times can you keep talking to somebody? Ironically, it's the same thing with Leah's mom. My ex-wife. After talking to you so many times and telling you the same thing, how many times do I have to say the same thing before I have to say, "Hey, I got to cut you off"? Or how many times can you keep being rebellious, disobedient? How many times am I supposed to keep forgiving you and putting up with it before I cut you off? But let me get this video up here. I did compile a video. So I'm not your father, Leah. That's Zach. And he definitely is a great father. Don't ever diminish him or see him through the lens of your adulterous mother. You know that man loves you, and this man here loves you as well. All right. I'd always try when you're with me. I always try to raise you and your half brother, my son Michael, the same. Giving you guys the same amount of love. If he got something, you got something. I never wanted anybody to feel like they didn't have the same amount of love. So share screen and all right. So we get this first one going. Hold on one second. All right. Here we go. Hold on. There we go. Now we cooking with grease, as they say. Okay, and I'm gonna let this one play. Now this is when I first met you right here. So when I first met you, Aaliyah, naturally you don't remember. You were just over one, and your mama was feeding you hot dogs, and she would never put no doggone clothes on you. I get that it was Arizona, but no child should be wandering around without some clothes on their behind. All right, I don't get new mothers today where they think it's cute that their kids just walk around in a diaper all day. No, put some clothes on your baby. Your children are a reflection of you. Many women today don't understand that. Put some clothes on your baby. Make sure they have 3 meals a day and two snacks because kids are always growing. Oh my goodness. That boy, and I'm gonna tell you something, Leah. You gave me hell. You absolutely gave me hell when you were younger. But you would cry when your mama would leave you. You didn't like me, and I was like, Lord, I gotta make sure this kid survives. I remember the very first night you came to Charlotte in 2015. I told you 5 times, Leah, stop running, stop running, sweetheart, because the closet door's open. Stop running. Told you 5 times. Next thing me and your mama know, you run slap into the doggone door. In the middle of your forehead, I guess you have ruptured a blood vessel. And I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to deal with this. I was like, Lord, I'm gonna have to deal with this. Oh God, I told you 5 times to stop doing that, and you didn't listen. And now look what happened. And when you came, when you finally came to me in 2015, um, you know, because your mama, um, because your mama didn't want to allow your father Zach to be in your life. And I'm gonna tell you this, sweetheart. Like, she did me the same way, and I hate that for you because you had two great men that loved you, but it's just your mama wasn't nothing. She just isn't good. She's a bad she's a bad woman. you know, she she's just a horrible person. I'm sorry. And I'm saying it nicely, sweetie. But you got clothes, you got shoes. You stopped walking around in diapers. You were fed, and that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure. There's clothes on. Look at those. That- One of your first Thanksgivings here. I ain't never seen you eat so much food. And this is when we were taking our walk here. It's my oldest, Kevin and Leah. What is going on? She got that from me pointing with a finger like that. I didn't know. I didn't know that sometimes when I point, I don't use my pointer finger. I use my middle finger. I never caught on to that tick that I developed. So unfortunately, she got that from me pointing like that with her finger. Yeah, I did not mean to use that one. I never want to use any pictures with that devil. Now it wasn't just me. My mom bought some stuff for her. There were some other people from Texas who turned out to be bad people as well. When they would come into town, and that's something else too, Aaliyah. Oh my goodness, girl, every time you would sleep, you would take the whole bed. I don't know what it was. And I'd have to say that it was something about you just need to sleep by yourself. I'll say that because you stretch out, you kick it. you kick- it was the cutest thing to see you stretched out. But I was like, yeah, you need your own. Oh man, I remember this one. Oh my god, I remember this visit right here, right here. This is one of my greatest memories of you and Michael, Leah, because I remember the doctor came in to give Michael his shot, and you were sitting over there, but this is how much love Michael has for you. You know, you're sitting over there, and he, with his little pacifier in his mouth, is cracking up at you. I'm pretty at this point. I'm pretty sure you remember this one. If not, it's okay. and he's sitting over there laughing. But one thing about Michael, he would never let go of that pacifier. He was like Tommy Pickles. He just pulled a pacifier out of thin air somehow. you know, but I don't know what you were doing that day. You were just making funny faces, and Michael was cracking up laughing. So much so that he didn't even notice the shot that he got. He didn't flinch. It was over. It was literally over in about 5 seconds. Poke eject out. But you were always there for Michael, and as a man that you called daddy once, I truly appreciate that because I know that you loved him and he loved you, and you could see it in how you interacted, especially how you went to school. You know, people could tell that you came from a loving home, and that means that I did my job. Because I had you guys most of the time, because there was a certain way that I wanted my house ran, and my put away wife, she just wasn't getting on that program. So I'm like, okay, the best thing you can do is work because you're not a home person. You don't keep a home, you don't clean, you don't do dishes, you don't work on keeping a home. Even finances is a strong point. So the best thing that you can do is work. I'll take care of everything else and juggle it around because there's a way that children need to be raised with structure and stability, and I could see that. Yes, our first apartment. Yep, y'all on the balcony. Oh boy, Mike with those teeth, man. Oh boy. Ah, you man, like, dude, you got to a point where I was like, man, girl, you are getting tall. you, you are getting. I didn't include the last one we took when we was at the park, and you were in your school uniform. But man, when I tell you, hey, I know you love me, Leah, and I still love you too, sweetheart. Yep, your school project. This is one of the last pictures where had a recital and I got you flowers. Now, this is the very last picture here of us from December 16th of 2019. Um, you know, before your mom decided to do what she did. I apologize to you before, sweetie, because, your mother, like I said, she's not a good person, and I'm saying it nicely to keep it clean for YouTube, man. And I pray for you and your brother every single day. Because I see you as one of my children. Okay, so regardless of the things that your mother has put you through, willingly, you have a man here that you've called dad that still loves you as his own. So I truly want to say happy birthday, sweetheart. Um, it's your mother's fault that I cannot be in your life and in your brother's life. It's your mother's fault that I'm not there because I wanted to be there and I tried to be there. Um, like I said, she's just no good. And you know, I don't she thinks that reaching out to me um through fake profiles and emailing me, we are not cordial, Miss Gross. um, you are always to address me as Mr. Gatewood, never by my first name, because we're not cordial, right? We're not on good terms. So I will never be cordial with you. To you, Miss Gross, is Mr. Gatewood, and I will never, for my own protection, my own safety, I cannot have any type of communication with you. So all these fake profiles, anything that you send me is going in the delete box because I have to protect myself from you because you choose to lie to children and steal children. Those type of people will only get you killed. And this is advice for anybody. Those type of people are the type of people that will get you killed and then lie about your death. But the blessing is that I serve an Elohim where he says vengeance is mine. So there is a day of vengeance coming for you, Miss Gross. And my father does not miss. So with that being said, happy 12th birthday to Leah Faith Sanchez. I love you so much, baby girl. And I cannot wait to see you again. All right. So without further ado, we got this book right here. It is called Demon Hit List. All right. Now, this book, it was sitting in my cart for such a long time. And as it was sitting in my cart, I'm like, let me finally pick this book up. And when I picked it up and I started looking at it and going through it, I said, wow, this is something that, this is something that would be good for the people. Let me pull up the title here. Now, this is the name of the book right here. This is what it looks like. You can find this on Amazon. And let's see. Now, this particular book, it lists the names of certain spirits and certain demons, and also what could be traits or characteristics of them, or spirits working under them, or demonic spirits working under them. So there is a few. I'm just going to kind of scroll around here because it's an A to Z list of spirits, really an A to T list of spirits, and then it goes into like other areas and things like that. So I'm gonna start with suspicion. Suspicion is distrust, fear, paranoia, accusation, doubt, rejection, hurt. All right. The next one is talkativeness, and under this, schizophrenia. And there's a whole video on this channel dedicated to schizophrenia. Tarot cards, witchcraft, divination, occult. Next one we're going to hit is tempers, anger, rage, fury, wrath, fit, gall, wormwood, passion, irritation, annoyance. And I'm just going to kind of skip around here. When you pick this book up, it's a pretty small book, but it's got a lot of information in it. So the next one is addiction, right? And this one is compulsion, obsession, alcohol, drugs, illegal and prescription, nicotine, caffeine, sugar, exercise, spindrift, food, craving, addiction, spirits lodge in the appetite, stomach, mouth, throat, taste buds, and nose. They enter through rejection and inheritance. See that? Key point. Adultery, lust, fornication, unfaithfulness, promiscuity, immorality, harlotry, whoredom, extramarital affair, infidelity, lying, deception, carnality, backsliding, lodges in the eyes, 2 Peter 2:14, works with Jezebel, Revelations 2:20, destruction, Proverbs 6:32, wounds, dishonor, reproach, shame, a marriage breaking spirit operates through curses of lust and adultery. Okay, skip ahead here. Okay, Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, sovereign of evil spirits, a ruling spirit, Matthew 12:24, Belial, worthlessness, wickedness, destruction. All right, bitterness, unforgiveness, resentment, revenge, retaliation, root of bitterness, Hebrews 12:15, hidden bitterness, gall, wormwood, poisonous root, hard bondage, Exodus 1:14, complaining, murmuring, backbiting, envy, strife. Oh yeah, I've been guilty of this. James 3:14, rage, anger. Ephesians 4:31, curses. Romans 3:14, jealousy opens the door for sickness and infirmity. Right. Next one is blasphemy, cursing, heresy, impiety, profanity, sacrilege, lewdness, irreverence. Right. Next one I'm going to do is bondage, which is slavery, servitude, subjection, yokes, chains, shackles, fetters. Now, as I'm reading these, again, these are, these can be both spirits and characteristics of what you're dealing with. Okay, so you can be able to take some of these things, just like we did in the exposing Jezebel playlist when I was reading excerpts from that about the things to look for with Jezebel. These are characteristics that you can look and see and say, oh, okay, this spirit is operating in this. Or you can sit and say, okay, well, what's the spirit of bondage? Is that operating here? Slavery, servitude, subjection, yokers, chains, shackles, fetters, captivity. But these will also be key things if you pay attention to your dreams that you will also see in your dreams. Now, understand, dream interpretation is definitely a gift of the Holy Spirit. But when you get this book, pay attention to the descriptions, and you'll see, and you can see, okay, what in my dream, okay, I'm seeing, chains or fetters, or this going on. I'm gonna read another one says Buddha, idolatry, death, occultism, Eastern religions, and mysticism, hopelessness, despair. Now, the very first one says idolatry, death, occultism. These are characteristics that you would identify with this religion, because it is a particular religion of worship. Now it says Eastern religions, absolutely, and mysticism, because all those things are what's done when it comes to Buddhism. Okay, hopelessness and despair. This is often the feeling or the spirit that comes on to people when they're dealing with these things, when they're coming out of it, or when they hear something that goes contrary to Buddhism. They might feel it for a split second, because there's a crack in their idolatry, in their worship. Okay, let's skip ahead here. Okay, clairvoyance. Now, this is something that came up, that I read when I was reading off that list of occult terms. The playlist should be public on the channel for you guys. I went ahead and made that public instead of private for the Patreon. Sorry, I forgot what it was. I have so many apps. But I went into the definition of that in the occult, but we'll read it again here. Clairvoyance, extrasensory perception, ESP, foreknowledge, pronunciation, prenomination, telepathy, sixth sense, divination, telekinesis. Psychic spirits often operate through inheritance. Now, I'm going to tell you, clairvoyance, what it really boils down to is consulting with familiar spirits, right? Just as King Saul did when he went to the witch, and he said, I need to speak with Samuel. Because remember, the prophet Samuel is the one who got the message from Elohim, and through Elohim used him to strip the kingdom away from him, because he disobeyed him. But when he went to the witch, which is often what they do, they consult with familiar spirits. All right, so we're gonna go on to condemnation, which is guilt, accusation, blame, judgment, legalism, Pharisee, religious control, false doctrine, salvation by works, false holiness. Okay, we're going to skip ahead here to covetousness, stealing, kleptomania, materialism, greed, discontent, self seeking, self indulgence, avarice, lust. Now, these are characteristics of how you know you're dealing with covetousness. Now, I want to point out here that when you're dealing with this, there is it also is associated with the spirit of lust. So you see how some of these in this book, some of these things they give you the definition and characteristics to look for, but they also give you the spirits associated with it. Let's skip ahead a few pages. Okay. We're going to do idolatry. And idolatry is icons, description, picture icons, relics. Both of these are descriptions. Baal, this is an example, especially in the Bible. And covetousness. Remember, we just spoke about that. So idolatry will also be associated with that spirit of covetousness. Okay. And see, the next we'll do is incest, right? Spirits of Moab and Ammon. Characteristics and examples from scripture right here. And here's another characteristic: operates through curses of incest, lust, and perversion. Those are spirits. Well, as well as taboo and illicit is a definition. So, when you pick this up, I say study these definitions, and when you begin to ask daily for discernment, the Father will give it to you as long as you're obedient to Him. Don't ask for discernment and then still be disobedient. You know, and then thinking that, oh, well, the Lord gave me discernment. Yeah, and He probably did to discern that you're not right. Okay, so moving on here. Manipulation is one. You have control, deception, deceit, lying, and rejection. So all these are actually spirits that are under manipulation. All right, skip ahead a little more. Big one. Pornography, erotica, hardcore, X-rated, books, movies, videos, peep shows, obscenity, fantasy, lust, perversion, oral sex, anal sex, homosexuality, lesbianism, orgies, bisexuality, mind control, lewdness, lasciviousness, 1 Peter 4:3, uncleanliness, Ephesians 5:3, sensuality, carnality, whoredom, spirit, prostitution, spirit, voyeurism, activity, lust of the eyes, which is the condition of the spirit, masturbation, physical attribute, nudity, physical attribute, a marriage breaking spirit, spiritual, curiosity, that's the human condition, shame, spirit, guilt, spirit, condemnation is a spirit, sexual impurity is a spirit, defilement is a um, is an effect of this. All right, let's do one more. Okay, last one we're going to do self will. All right, self will is rebellion, which is a spirit, stubbornness is a spirit, disobedience is a spirit, anti submissiveness is a characteristic, egotism is not only a characteristic, but is a result of self will. All right, so guys, that is my time on this. If you haven't done it, go pick up this book. I'll put it up on the screen for you guys, so you can go pick it up off of Amazon. All right. And I want to say to you guys, shalom, shalom, and I will catch you on the next one.